Yo, people, welcome back to another stream. What a weekend of Prem ball it is. You know what, people? I love the Premier League. I love the Premier League. Do you want to know why I love the Premier League? Because we own that shit. We own the Premier League.
Feels like
What the hell? Joe, what the hell happened today? What the hell happened today? What a crazy weekend. City get the job done, and I'm sitting there saying to myself, yo, there's no way Aston Villa, there's no way Crystal Palace do us a favour. No. You know, Liverpool at home, Arsenal at home, there's no way they get their jobs done. There's no way they do us a favour. And lo and behold, little old City, with a shit record against the top six, inconsistent performances, sloppy performances, a below average defense as far as title challenging goes. It's in our hands. It's all in our hands. Listen, big up everybody in the chat. Make sure you've smashed that big like button. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. And there's a link in the chat right now if anybody wants to become a channel member. This was meant to be a review stream. This was going to be like a player ratings. We talk about City against Luton. We talk about how, you know, we need to keep it moving. We need to move on to the next. We need to keep doing our job. I did not expect what I got today. Liverpool 0. Crystal Palace 1. Arsenal 0. Aston Villa 2. Manchester City 4. Aston Villa 1. Crystal Palace 2. Manchester City 4. If I'm not mistaken. Do your jobs. Do your jobs. If you are to win a Premier League, you must do your job. When City are not at the races, you must do your job. Let's start with Liverpool. Do not let Jurgen Norbert Klopp leave England with just a Carabao Cup. If he leaves England with just a Carabao Cup, oh boy. Oh boy. This absolute phony, Joe. This absolute pretender went toe-to-toe with us for a few seasons. All due respect. He's 9 years in the Premier League. He has one league. And they trying to say he's up there with Pep Guardiola. Goodbye, Jurgen. Goodbye. It's been nice knowing you. It was cute while you were going toe-to-toe with us. It was cute while you had the cop end behind you. It was cute while you were fighting to the last day of the season. You're going out with just an energy drink. Full of caffeine. I don't know how you're tired. I don't know why you're tired. You should be full of caffeine. Carabao is full of caffeine. Carabao is an energy drink. And that's what you're bringing home with you, my friend. You couldn't handle the pace with Pep. You couldn't hack being Pep Guardiola's inferior sidekick. You couldn't hack being the bridesmaid. You couldn't handle being second best. You couldn't handle being a big, fat loser. Smash that like button, people. Smash the big thumbs up. Do me a favor. Subscribe if you're new around here. We're going to chat about the whole lot. We're going to chat about absolutely everything. We'll be here all night if we have to. Trust me, we'll be here all night. Joe, listen, Joe. I thought we were third favourites for a while there because, you know, we're conceding goals and the other two teams in the race were doing their thing. And then this weekend, what date's today? The 14th of April comes along and all of a sudden we're fucking, it's in our hands. Mathematically, it's in our hands. Never, ever, ever write Manchester City off. Joe, what a wild day of football.
What's the point? Like, what is the point? This should have been an easy day. You know, we chat about Luton, we get on to Madrid. Arsenal and Liverpool, they're both at home. You must. You must. No, of course not. They both lose. Liverpool in their last 2 home games have scored none, conceded 4. You know, Villa have done the double over Arsenal. I mean, Jesus Christ. I don't know where to begin. Let's keep on with Liverpool because they were up first. I mean, is it getting a bit wobbly? You said this a few months ago, actually, that there's a potential that because Klopp said he's leaving, all it takes is a few losses and then all of a sudden that Klopp's leaving siege mentality can go all out the window and they could crumble. Yeah. And that's kind of happening now. Been panned by Atlanta in the Europa League on a Thursday. What do they do to respond to that? 1-0 loss to Crystal Palace. I mean, it's just... I had a little bit of confidence in Aston Villa, at least maybe nicking a draw. I thought they could manage that because Aston Villa are a good side.
Yeah.
Liverpool losing at home to Crystal Palace. Liverpool have an unbelievable record against Crystal Palace. Liverpool have just lost 3-0 in the Europa League. Revenge time against Crystal Palace. 1-0 loss. I mean, who saw that coming? I guarantee you there'll be people in this chat right now that would have been watching that game, watch Palace go 1-0 up really early on, and probably turned it off, going Liverpool will probably score. Because that's what they've been doing. Now this time, and this is what they've been doing is unsustainable. Going behind and then coming back to win 2-1, 3-1 at the end. That's unsustainable football. And I think everybody knew that was unsustainable and it was going to bite them, and it might bite them again. This is, again, like you said, to let Klopp go out of England, sad, with a Carabao Cup to his name. Sad. Sad. Like, come on, man. You can't be letting him go out with just a Carabao Cup. There's so much talk about there's people out there who say they'd rather have Klopp than Pep because he works, he's worked wonders with a shoestring budget. Like, he didn't sign the most expensive goalkeeper in the world until Kepa and most expensive centre-back in the world until Maguire. Like, no, you can't let him go outside. This is, for a man who's been bigged up as much as he has, Pep versus Klopp, City Paul era, to go out with 1 Premier League, 1 Champions League, and in your final season, your last hurrah, to have your season effectively over at February if you go out with just the Carabao Cup. It's sad. It's not good.
Before we continue, guys, there's 75 in the building. We're 9 minutes into the stream. The goal is always 50. Our record for 50 likes is, I think, 50 minutes. So we have 6 minutes to break our record of 50 likes. So if 13 of you hit the like button, we will break our record of 50 likes in record timing. So hit the like button, subscribe if you're new around here, and there's a link in the chat if anybody wants to become a channel member. Look, my thing is, I'm not going to get ahead of myself because I don't believe for a second that the race is over. I know these races can take twists and turns. I know we could drop points next week. I know they could drop points next week. But the fact that both Arsenal and Liverpool have allowed a situation whereby the Premier League is mathematically back in our hands is embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. I'm looking at mainly Jurgen Klopp. I'm looking at mainly Liverpool Football Club. We will talk about Arsenal. We will bring Arsenal into this conversation, but I'm mainly looking at Liverpool. Why? Because Liverpool have the experience. Liverpool have Jurgen Klopp. Liverpool have Van Dijk. They have Salah. They have the Kop. They have the whole shebang. This was Klopp's last season. Jurgen Klopp strategically decided to announce in January that he's no longer going to be the Liverpool manager. And we all said, okay, this is interesting. It'll work one of 2 ways. Either it'll go tits up and Liverpool will completely, shit will hit the fan and they won't be able to keep up the steam. or else it'll be a dude for Klopp, and they'll all get behind, they'll all rally behind Jurgen Klopp, and they'll all be, you know, gassed for the Premier League. And I was a bit fearful. I was a bit fearful of that situation. I did not expect them to lose 3-0 at home to Atalanta, and I certainly did not expect them to lose 1-0 at home to Crystal Palace today. Absolutely disgraceful performance from a team trying to challenge for a Premier League. Absolutely embarrassing. No fight, no will, tactics out the window. Made look like a really bad team like Crystal Palace, a team that we went to Selhurst Park and took the piss out of only a matter of days ago. Goodbye, Jurgen Klopp. Goodbye. What you will be remembered for, Jurgen, is only within the Liverpool fan base. You will only really, when time goes by and push comes to shove, you will only really be remembered within the Liverpool fan base, because everybody else will forget about you, because this era has been dominated and owned by Pep Guardiola. When people dive into and look at the seasons Pep Guardiola won the league, they'll say Liverpool gave them a good challenge. Liverpool had a good run. They worked hard, but they couldn't quite do it. You won a Champions League. Fair play. You won one Premier League. You broke the drought. Well done. No one was there to watch it. You're on your own celebrating a trophy. Are you a Premier League great? Are you a GOAT? Are you an icon of Premier League football? Absolutely fucking not. You are up there with Claudio Ranieri. You are up there with Manuel Pellegrini. You are a good manager. You're tired. I get it. You're tired. I would be tired too if I was competing with Pep Guardiola. It's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. And everyone will paint it out. Everyone will say City are the villains here. City are the bad guys here. And yada, yada, yada. The fact of the matter is, Joe, chime in here. Even in our worst of our 4-in-a-row seasons, you still couldn't quite do it. Joe, I believe one of Arsenal or Liverpool should have ran away with this league. Ran away with it. If either of them had a set of real bollocks, they'd have ran away with this shit. Left us behind. The only Big Six team we've beaten this season is Manchester United. How shit's that? We've not beaten Arsenal. We've not beaten Liverpool. We've not beaten Tottenham. We've not even beaten Chelsea. And it's mathematically in our hands. Big fucking loser, Jurgen. You big loser.
I mean, someone should have ran away with it, really, shouldn't it? I think it should have been Arsenal, personally. Like, this was their time, because you talk about our Big Six record being bad. Liverpool's is worse. They've only beaten Chelsea at home, and that's it. Like, theirs is as bad. Theirs is worse than ours, to only beat Chelsea at Anfield and, you know, not pick up points against the rest of them. Like, their record is worse than ours against them. So, should they have run away with it? Probably not, given that their record is like that. But Arsenal, their record isn't like that. They beat us. They beat Liverpool. They should have been clear. They should have had a few points on us. They gained points on us. They beat us.
DNA, Joe. Joe, it's the North London DNA. I don't know what they put in the water in North London. I don't know what they put in
Prem.
the kebabs in North London. I don't know what they put in the McDonald's in North London. But it's in their DNA that when push comes to shove, they bottle it. They bottle it. When shit gets serious in North London, both Arsenal and Tottenham, they bottle it. They bottle it. The pressure's on. It's a little bit sweaty in the kitchen, and they bottle it. It's in the DNA, Joe. It's in the DNA.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know what they're going to blame this time. They tried to blame Rob Holding last season because they rocked up to our players held 4 and they blamed him. He was the only guy who scored. What do you mean, blame him? Like, come on now. Well, who are you going to blame now? You've got big old best centre-back Champions League Saliba playing.
Yeah.
He's available. Yeah. He's fit.
Mm-hmm.
What's your excuse this time for blowing a lead? Look, the criteria I'd say for blowing a lead and bottling it, if you get to single-digit games left in the season and you've got no matches against the teams you're challenging for the title, which they didn't, and they were top or joint top with Liverpool, you must win the Premier League. You must see it out. 7, 8, 9 games left to go, top of the league. You don't directly play your title rivals. You must see it out. You must show that you have the credentials to go and win a title. What you mustn't do is go and lose at home and hand the mathematics back into the one team that you don't want to hand it to with, 6 games left to go in the season. That's no, you don't do that. I mean, Liverpool, again, they have a terrible Big Six record as well. But, I mean, like you said, what's Klopp going to be remembered as now? What, Jurgen Klopp and his Neely men? Is that it? Like, he challenged a couple of times. Like, that's it. He won 1 Premier League in 9 seasons. And they tried to say that they were the best team in the world, one of the best teams ever. And they won 1 league title in 9 years. The Neely men. And then you look at Arsenal, they're next up. Mikel Arteta, Lego head, he's starting to get grey hairs, bless him. Like, I don't know whether he's built for this. He had impeccable hair, and now the camera zoomed in on him today. I'm like, Jesus Christ, he's got greys. Like, you need to show that you have, you have the muscle, you have the credentials, you have the bottle to keep this going, to win the league. But you're losing at home. And it's like, I get it. Villa are a good side. They are 4th in the table. They are not a bad side. But when your title rivals, literally a week and a half ago, beat them 4-1 in their place, can't be losing 2-0 at your place. Because Arsenal were at home. We beat them 4-1.
Nah, we're in single digits now. And if it's in your hands mathematically, you must go and finish. You must go and finish. You cannot be losing at home in a title race. You cannot be losing at home. Listen, I've got one super chat here. I'm going to read it out now. There's over 100 in the building. Make sure you've all hit that big thumbs up button. Keep getting your messages in. Make sure you're subscribed if you're new around here. And there's a link in the chat now. If any of you fantastic blues fancy being a channel member around here, you're more than welcome to join the army. Big up Roberto. He says, imagine being a Bottle FC fan. Hashtag pray for Bayern. They said, City till I die. The only Prem that Rat FC Arteta will win is the one he won at City. Roberto's on smoke, man. Roberto is on smoke. This You know what, Roberto? This Premier League winning business is not as easy as it looks. It's not as easy as it looks. We've won 3 in a row, 5 out of the last 6 or 7, whatever it is. It's not easy. It's not easy winning these things. And I feel people underestimate Manchester City too quickly, too often. Do I think we have been the best we've ever been? Absolutely not. But if Manchester City are not the best they've ever been, it's up to you to get your shit together. You must capitalize, Mikel Arteta. You must take advantage, Jurgen Klopp. You must. If you're going to, if you're threatening to, if you're telling us you will, you must do it now. Aston Villa at home, Crystal Palace at home must be formalities. They must be 3 points, and they must be convincing. You cannot be losing clean sheet fashion as well, may I add, to these teams at home and telling us you are going to win the league. I heard it all this season. I heard every last ounce of arrogance about defenses and attacks, and how we're not the same, and how this player is better in his position than our player in their position. But what you cannot buy, what you cannot force, and what you cannot pretend is a winner's mentality. If you're a loser, you're a loser, and you cannot shake that off. Jurgen Klopp, you are a loser. a fucking loser, a pretender, a fighter, but not quite the winner. You're not quite the victor. You're not quite the champion. You had your moment in the sunshine during COVID when no one was there and no one really gave a fuck. But when it really, really mattered, you always lost. You always came second. You always did a very good job. But you could never quite do it. You could never quite lift the big trophy, the main trophy. It was always, we were unfortunate because we were up against juggernaut Manchester City. We were unlucky to draw in the Etihad. We were unlucky to draw or lose this game. We got 97 points and didn't win the league. The bottom line is you were a loser. The winner comes first and everybody else is the loser. What will he be remembered for, Joe? Being a nearly man. Nearly there. You were 1 point off. You were so close, but you didn't quite do it. You didn't quite do it.
Remember that graphic? Do you remember that graphic, actually? The 18-19 season where it was, what was it, 97, 98 points or 98, 99? Whichever one it was, the one where they lost out by 1 point. If outside the box goals counted as double, they would have won the league. That is the sort of shit he'll be remembered for. If, buts, maybes. No, mate. You didn't do it.
Nearly. You were so close. You were so close to immortality. Now, do I think we have won this league? No. Do I think we will win this league? Yes. Because my team, my club, my manager know how to finish the job. We do. We simply do. Do not give us these opportunities. Do not give Manchester City the mathematical advantage. Do not put us in a position whereby it's in our hands with 6 to go. Joe, I don't know about you, but I believe the other two teams will drop more points. I do. We have the easiest running.
Well, yeah, if they keep playing like this, I mean, you never know what's going to happen. Like, you watch the Liverpool game, the amount of chances they are missing at the moment is absolutely insane. You look at the Arsenal game, Arteta's taking his captain, Ødegaard, off the game at 0-0. Like, where's your captain when you need him? Why has he not produced anything? Like, what is this? Phil Foden scored a hat-trick against Aston Villa. Arsenal's captain got hooked. Like, you need your big men to step up. And they didn't. They didn't step up. Like, this is where you need to show credentials. Again, like I said, you need to show that you have this. The whole world, the whole footballing world is like Arsenal are bottlers. This is in their DNA. You know, they've bottled it the last 2 seasons. Your chance to prove them wrong. The Premier League is in your hands with 7 games left to go. You need to win your home games. You know, you've got a few tough away games, but they're winnable. You know, you've got Tottenham. I think Tottenham is away for them. That's like their biggest one that they had left in terms of away games. Just win your home games, which if you want to win the Premier League, you need to basically win all of your home games. Like, that's what got Liverpool to high points totals. That's what won us a treble last season, being able to win our home games. So win your home games. And they failed. They failed. It's almost like they got too giddy. They saw that the pressure was already on because we beat Luton yesterday. So the pressure's on. We're at the top. There's a bit of pressure. Liverpool have lost, basically handing the reins to Arsenal. If Arsenal do their job, back in their hands, fully on points in their hands. They got giddy, felt a bit of pressure, realised there was an opportunity, and didn't take it. And that's exactly what cost them last season.
It's like deja vu, but I felt like this season was the best opportunity for someone to go and beat us. Someone should have gone and beat us, and you know, buried us. Listen, there's 120 people in the building. We're on 75 likes. Let's see, can we get to 100 likes as soon as possible? Smash the like button, subscribe if you're new around here, and if you're a big blue like myself and Joe, and you want to join the HMTV army, there's a link in the chat now to become a channel member. All of your support, massively, massively appreciated. But hit that like button, hit that like button. I really did feel, Joe, I don't know about you, mate, but I just didn't expect that this soon. I mean, I know there's 6 to go, but I thought we'd go down to the wire. I know I said to you a few weeks ago that I don't think it'll be a 3-horse race. I didn't think it would be a 3-horse race. I felt one team would fall off. I don't know whether it would be Arsenal, whether it would be Liverpool, or maybe Manchester City. I don't know. I did not think a 3-horse race was the reality, even though the media and, you know, fans of every team was hyping this title race up to be, you know, a 3-horse battle. I didn't think it was going to be the case. But I did not think that on the 14th of April, we would find it mathematically in our hands. I mean, when it comes to Arsenal, I'm looking at Arsenal and saying, you should have, and you still should. You still should. With 700-800 million spent, 247 days on top last season, adding Declan Rice, adding Kai Havertz, adding these players to make you that few percentages better, you really should be winning a major trophy. They're not going to win the Champions League. I'll tell you guys out and out right now for a fact, all 120 of you in the building, Arsenal will not win the Champions League. They will not win the Champions League. So they should win a Premier League. But they've made a massive, massive error, scalp on themselves today in pursuit of the Premier League. I did not expect it. I did not expect it. I mean, I don't know about you, Joe.
I mean, at the start of this season, I don't think I said it, but in my mind, I was like, Arsenal have to win something, even if it's a Carabao Cup, FA Cup. They have to win a trophy. Fuck that McDonald's dinner plate. Don't care. Not a trophy, right? They have to win something this season. They had to. Arteta has spent a lot of money. Havertz was 60 million in the summer. Rice, a lot of money on Declan Rice. Signing of the season, in my opinion, if I'm being real. I think he's signing of the season still. However, after you spent all that money, this is his squad. All of these players that are there, you know, I don't know all of them because I'm not queued in an Arsenal squad, right? But the most of them, the important players, his signings, they're his players. He had to, after all this money and getting the squad that he wants, these are the players that he wants. He's bought them. He had to win a trophy with them. His only trophy, major honour, and that's a push because is the FA Cup a major honour? I think it's still a good trophy to win personally, right? So it's something. Yeah. But that's the only thing he still won. And it wasn't with his squad. That was when he took charge halfway through his season, no signings. He was using a different manager's squad and he won a trophy. That is still the only piece of silverware to his name. After all them signings, after all that money, he had to win something this season. If he didn't win anything, it was a failure. And he's not. He's looking at not winning anything again.
It's a failure. It is. It's a failure. I'm sorry. It's a failure. Like let's not sugarcoat the shit. Do you know what I mean? Let's not sprinkle sugar over shit. If Arsenal don't win a major trophy this season, it's failure. I don't want to hear about phase 1 to 5. I don't want to hear about, you know, progression. I don't want to hear about this, that, the other. It's failure. You've joined the big boy table. You're barking like a big dog for a long time, but you're not behaving like a big dog. You're not eating like a big dog. A big dog, excuse me, a big dog eats the silverware, eats up the big silverware. You don't lose 2-0 at home to Crystal Palace with 7 to go. Arsenal have no excuses. Absolutely zero excuses. Bark like a big dog, behave like a big dog. I can at the very least give Liverpool the leniency of he's refreshed his squad, he's brought in a lot of new players, you know, he's leaving, etc., etc., injuries, etc., etc. Arsenal, you have no leg to stand on. Absolutely no leg to stand on. This was the season where Arsenal must, this is the season where Arsenal must get their hands on a Premier League or a Champions League. Absolutely must. Manchester City have just won 3 in a row, 5 in the last 6 or 7. a treble. We've got our hands on our first Champions League. I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry, people. I'm sorry, rivals. Whether you like it or not, there is no pressure whatsoever on City to continue. There wasn't. 4 in a row was and is a pipe dream. It's like, oh my God, 4 in a row, never been done before, crazy. But we've won 3 in a row. We've won the last 3. We've owned England for the last 3 years. You can't tell us we must. The hunger levels, the money and the phases of Arsenal Football Club, this was the year you should have capitalised. You have players like Kevin De Bruyne, 6 months out. Haaland, 2 months out. Jack Grealish, 3 months out. Doku, 2 months out. Kyle Walker, off shagging whoever it is he was shagging. Head all over the place. Pep Guardiola, is he extending? We don't know. This was the year where you had your shit in order. This was the year where you were meant to pip us. This is the year where you are meant to pip us. You must win the Premier League, Arsenal. I don't want to hear about leagues where Man City are there, about, oh, it's so tough competing with Man City. No. You've spent the big boy money, go and win the big boy trophies. I don't want to hear it. You moved to the Emirates, you got rid of Wenger, you did all your banter era, you brought in Arteta, he won his FA Cup, he's built his squad, go and win the major trophies. You got him from our winning system. He knows how to win. Go and win trophies. 6 to go. 6 to go. Don't fuck it up.
I mean, that's the thing why, again, you can cut Jurgen Klopp a little bit of grace here, because he built a squad and did win a Premier League. Yes, it was only one, but he built it and won it. Arteta's built a squad, and the way it's heading is he's falling short for a second year in a row. And, again, we raised the point. We watch our club week in, week out. Doesn't take a genius to realise, yes, we haven't lost in 2024, but my God, we've been so inconsistent this season. We've dropped so many stupid points. We went in a run across November/December, you know, before the Club World Cup. We had one win in like 7 or 8 games, and it was against Luton. There was like 7 draws in there. I think there was a loss actually in there against Villa away. Like we went through a phase where we couldn't win a game of football. Add to that, our absolutely atrocious record against the Big Six, just beating Man United and only Man United home and away. Arsenal should have more of an advantage. They should have been more than just a couple of points clear, having beaten us, beaten Liverpool, and not going on one of them horrendous runs that like we went on. So they had to win something. I don't think it was a matter of Premier League, Champions League or bust and it's a failure. I wouldn't go that far. However, I would still say not even winning one of the cups, that's a failure. That's a failure, not getting a taste of success after all that you've been through. After all of the bigging up, after all the money, your players, you've taken our assistant manager from our Centurions team. You've taken 2 multiple-time Premier League winners in Zinchenko and Jesus off of us. Champions League winning goal scorer Kai Havertz off of Chelsea. And you are going to fall short. There's no experience. You've got Saliba fit this time. There's no blaming injuries. I want to know what the excuse is. You've got all the advantages. The 2 rivals you're playing against have horrible records against big sides. And you took points off both of them. And adding to all this, you went through it last season. You should have learned. You signed a lot of money's worth of players. Like you spent a lot of money in the summer. Where is the improvement? Where is the go one better? It's not there.
Mm-hmm. It's not there. It's not there. It's not there. I mean, people have been saying for weeks now how Arsenal are playing the best football, the sexiest football, keeping teams at bay, low blocks at the Etihad and scoring loads of goals against Burnley and Sheffield United and so on and so forth. No one gives a fuck. I'm sorry. No one gives a fuck. If the Premier League trophy is not being held up in the Emirates on the last day, no one gives a fuck. listen, there's 130 people in the building. We're 13 likes off 100. Please do us a favor, hit the like button and subscribe if you're new around here. And there's a link in the chat now. If any of you fantastic blues want to become a channel member, you're massively, massively, massively helping myself and Joe. And you'll get a badge beside your name. It'll make you a channel moderator, and you'll get access to all the emojis and Discord server and cool stuff that members get. So the link's in the chat now. It's also pinned in the chat if anybody wants to help support the channel. Regarding City, Joe, we did our job. We won 5-1 against Luton, and we absolutely built a team based on the fact we're playing Real Madrid on Wednesday. But it was still 7 games to go, and we did what we had to do. There's a difference between a team that knows what they have to do, that does what they have to do to win a league. Even though we've been, by league winning standards of the past, shit. In comparison to what we've been this season, we've still done our job. We've still hung in there. We've still kept ourselves in the mix. We've still, just hung on by a thread at times. And now we're at a point where it's in our hands mathematically. With 6 to go, the run-in we have, I firmly make us favourites for the first time this season. Like I've always believed we would win the league, but I firmly make us favourites at this point, and I feel 4 is on the horizon. I feel 4 is on the horizon in a row.
Well, I've had my opinion flipped. I'm not like one of these flip-floppy people where it's like, oh, it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off. I believed it was on until we drew with Arsenal at home 0-0, and then I was like, it's off until I see something. And of course, today, I have seen something that has made me flip back to it's on again. I didn't flip back when we beat Villa. I didn't flip back when we beat Palace or when we beat Luton. I was waiting until I saw something. I either wanted a boost from us in performances or a wobble from them two. And I got the second one. I got a wobble from our title rivals, which just made me flip back over. Well, yeah, the Luton game was pretty good. But again, I'm still waiting for that consistency, playing well again and again. And again, it feels mad to say because we haven't lost this calendar yet, but you know exactly what I'm on about, where it's still been inconsistent. I'm still waiting for sort of, 3-4 good games on the bounce. That's what I'm holding out for still. But I don't necessarily need to see that because I'm seeing us getting the job done and them struggling and them starting to get a little bit shaky in the running. So that's made me flip my mind around again, where we are favourites. We were third favourites. Let's not beat around the bush. Having come off a 0-0 against Arsenal, we were third in the league with a worse goal difference and less points than our 2 title rivals, with single-digit games left to go. We were third favourites. We had everything going against us. We'd won 3 in a row. We're just off a treble. Where's the motivation? The squad's old. We're inconsistent. Usually around this time, you need to refresh your squad. We had a lot of things going against us. So we were third favourites for a good few weeks. Now we're the favourites. And we haven't even done anything special, have we? We've beaten exactly who we're supposed to beat. We've just done our job. And it's turned around that we're the favourites now because the other 2 haven't done their job.
Exactly. And they should have done their job. I'm just organising a guest for tomorrow. By the way, chat, we have our first guest on the channel tomorrow at 3:30, so there's plenty more content to come. We're 9 likes off 100, so if 9 people could hit the like button, that would be absolutely fantastic. And we get to 100. But look, in terms of yesterday's performance against Luton, we did the job. I mean, look, people are complaining about, Liverpool had Atalanta, Europa League, Arsenal had Bayern Munich, Champions League. No one gives Manchester City the kind of leniency or leeway of, they're playing Champions League as well. We had the hardest task of them all. We went to the fucking Bernabeu. We went to the Bernabeu, and we have a second leg against Real Madrid, the biggest footballing institution in world football coming up on Wednesday. Pep had to build and put a team together that would do the job we needed to do against Luton. And we absolutely did. I mean, it was different. There was no Phil Foden, no Rodri. Haaland obviously was there, but I suppose let's start with Matheus Nunes, Joe, because there's a lot of conversations about Matheus Nunes and whether he is a good fit for us moving forward, whether it's an 8, whether it's a 6. Obviously, sort of gave away the goal that prevented us keeping a clean sheet. How did you assess Matheus Nunes' performance yesterday? And look, I'm going to say to you, try and do your best to look past the goal and look at his overall performance, because if I'm being totally honest, I quite like Matheus Nunes. I like the positions he picks up. I like the speed of play, and I like the momentum that he carries with the way he moves the ball. Obviously, the giving the goal away is it's not great, but he's not played a huge amount of football.
I mean, I'll just repeat what I said on my review, which was like, when I did my player ratings, I had to mark him down for the mistake, because you have to. It's cost us a goal. But I wasn't mad at the performance. Like I said, he was pretty good. Barring the mistake, he was pretty good. That was, again, where I look at it, and for me, it was just one of those games. Do you remember when he was played through one-on-one and he slipped over? Like he had some of the most horrendous luck yesterday. That he gets played through one-on-one, he slips over. It takes a heavy touch and Luton score from it. That's like the only chance that they really got. Like, it's unfortunate. I can cut him some slack though, because he doesn't play. Out of everybody in the squad, he plays like Rico Lewis minutes. That's how many minutes he's getting. He's getting like academy-style player minutes. He's not getting a huge amount of game time. I'd love to know the amount of minutes he's got compared to someone like Oscar Bob. In fact, I might go and try and find out now, because I'm really interested to see what the numbers are on this, because you barely see him, and then all of a sudden, he's in the team. I don't think he was meant to start either. I saw that one of the FPL accounts for the City team news said Foden was going to start this game and he was a last-minute change. And then Nunes, he's obviously starting. If anybody was going to drop out, probably would have been him, because we didn't really play with a right winger, did we? It was kind of Alvarez was there, Nunes was there, Rico Lewis was also out there a lot. So potentially we're looking at the same situation as Kovacic against Madrid, where Nunes was maybe a last-minute change to the team. And if that's the case, then again, he's thrown in the deep end. He's not a six. He played in the pivot pretty much. He's not a holding midfielder.
I think he can be.
Yeah, he can be. But we know from experience with Calvin Phillips that it is such a demanding position. It's incredibly difficult to never ever play and get thrown in that position. It's so difficult to do. He wasn't originally bought in to do that role either. That wasn't what he was bought for. He can do it because he has the physical, side of the game to be able to do it. But we've never seen him do that before. That was the first time he played as a like a deeper midfielder, like a proper deep midfielder. He's played as an 8. He's never played as a 6, to my knowledge. I've never seen it for us. Like
he did, the stats call me Statman Hugh. He in the season before he came to Manchester City, he played 6 times as a number 6.
But playing for Wolves as a number 6 and playing for us as a number 6 is such a completely different thing. Like,
yeah, it is.
Listen, I don't think it was a bad result. I think anybody saying things like he'll be sold, I think that's a lot of nonsense. I think that's too far, personally. How can you say, after spending the money that we spent on him, given the little that we've seen from him, he's played pretty much every single position. He's played as a 10, he's played as an 8, he's played as a 6, he's played off the left and right wing. How can you say, after seeing all of that, and say he's not good enough? He's barely had a kick. Like, I still like him as a player. I saw good things, personally. Again, going forward, he gives us something that not a lot of other players do. Kevin De Bruyne does this. But apart from that, it's not something you see a whole lot. How many players in our squad from midfield get to the byline and cut it back? How many players do that? Like, that's something that he was doing. We didn't have a natural right winger, so he took it upon himself to go down the right, get to the byline, and try cutting it back a couple of times. We don't have that in heaps. Bernardo Silva, whenever he plays in midfield, he does it sometimes. Kevin De Bruyne is like the master of making that channel run to the byline to cut it back. He's the guy that's always done it for us. But Phil Foden doesn't do that a whole lot. Kovacic doesn't do that. You don't get that from those sorts of players. He gives us something different. He's a player that, again, how many players in our squad? I think Kevin De Bruyne has done this as well. He's another example. Phil Foden's good at doing this. Kovacic has shown that he can do it. Get the ball, run 40 yards. Run 40 yards, get to the edge of the penalty area. Like, that's not something that we have, a lot of, and that can be useful. I still think there's a future. I mean, I'm scrolling through now to go for minutes, and I'm looking for Matheus Nunes, 1,330. Oscar Bob, 804. Like, he's not played that much more football than Oscar Bob, this is his first senior season. What about Rico Lewis? Rico Lewis has played more football than him, 1,587 minutes. Like, how can you say after that sample size that he was a terrible signing and will probably be sold?
I agree. I genuinely, I think you hit the nail on the head. But first of all, before we continue, quick round of applause. We're on 104 likes. Joe, round of applause. Big up to the chat. Big up to all of you in the chat who have hit the like button. The goal is always 50, and we've hit 100, so which is absolutely sick. Make sure you've hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. There's a link in the chat right now if any of you fantastic blues want to help support me and Joe become a channel member. I feel people too harsh on Matheus Nunes. I think every time he steps on the pitch, people are looking at him and saying, you have to be class. You have to be a difference maker. But you know, we look at players like Jack Grealish. We look at players like, who else is there? Kevin De Bruyne when he came back. And the first thing we were all saying before they touched the ball was, they haven't played in a while. Let's give them some leeway. You know, they haven't played in a while. Let's allow them to not be 110%. Let's allow them to not be magnificent. If you're telling me, Joe, and your stats are correct, that Matheus Nunes has played a similar amount of minutes to Oscar Bob and Rico Lewis, you can't expect Matheus Nunes to perform. I don't care who it's against. I put up a tweet and I got someone replying saying, oh, it's against Luton's B team. You know, it should be a fantastic performance. I don't care who the opposition is. I'm looking at the individual player. And all in all, I was quite impressed with Matheus Nunes. I really, really like the positions he picks up. I really, really like the speed in which he plays. I love his intensity. I love his willingness to try something new, to try and inject something. I mean, you compare, like you mentioned, Calvin Phillips, you compare Matheus Nunes and the cameos he had in the sort of number 6 role yesterday to Calvin Phillips. Calvin Phillips felt slow, felt lethargic, felt mediocre. At least you could get a sense with Matheus Nunes that there's something there. There's something to build off, that if he was given consistent, or at the very least, Joe, I think he warrants consistent minutes. And I get a solid feeling that if Matheus Nunes was given consistent minutes, we would see a really, really good player. I mean, there's absolutely no, you know, coincidence that Pep wanted Matheus Nunes 3-4 years ago when he was at Sporting Lisbon, and now he has him. I mean, I don't know what the idea behind him not playing a huge amount of minutes is, but whenever I see Nunes on the pitch, if you watch football a lot and you watch certain players a lot, sometimes you just know when you watch a player, you go, okay, he's got something about him. I think Nunes, Joe, has warranted some sort of consistent minutes. I just don't know where he gets them from. That's the issue.
And that's the issue with his performances. Is like, he plays everywhere. How are you expecting a guy who has 28 total appearances in April? In April, he has 28 appearances. Don't know how many of them are even like off the bench for like 10 minutes or whatever, right? 28 appearances. I'm looking on Transfer Market. 28 appearances. He's played DM, so 6, 8, 10. SS, which is shadow striker, so basically false 9, right and left. He's played every single attacking position on the pitch, apart from up front as a number 9 and as a holding midfielder. And he's made 28 appearances, and you're expecting consistency. Like, it doesn't happen. Like, it doesn't happen. That's not how you gauge a player. There's been a lot of people quick to jump on him. There's been a lot of people quick to jump on someone like Jeremy Doku. Why are you judging these guys based on what we're seeing now? How many times has a player come in and been signed and taken a season to properly bed in and then to see what you've bought? Grealish, Mahrez. I'm trying to think of, there's so many others. I mean, Rodri. Rodri's like our most important player. He took a season.
Yeah.
Like, Haaland is an anomaly. The fella scored 50-odd goals in a season. Like, he broke every single goal-scoring record, pretty much every single goal-scoring record imaginable. That's not normal. Like, he is a one-of-one type player. Anybody else? Mahrez, Premier League Player of the Season with Leicester, or Young Player of the Season, whatever. I think he was Premier League Player of the Season with Leicester when they won the league. Came in first season. Terrible. He was so inconsistent. He couldn't find a position. He didn't know what he was doing. He looked lost. He looked like he wasn't at our level. Second season, what happened? I know we didn't win the league, but he was one of our better players. Like, sometimes it takes a season. A lot of times, in fact, it takes a season for players to bed in. And add to that, his position basically being a random lottery of where he plays. You never know which position he's going to be in. He doesn't know what position he's going to be in. But he's willing to, again, he's willing to turn out wherever he needs to be. Pep says he's playing here, he plays there. I bet you he didn't think that one of his, opportunities to get in the team was on the left when Grealish got injured. I bet you he didn't think he'd be playing left wing.
No, absolutely no chance. We're going to move it on now to the next player. Make sure you smash the like button, guys. Bit of news. We have a show at 3:30 tomorrow with, I don't know how many of you guys are very involved in City Twitter. Blue Tone is going to join myself and Joe at 3:30 tomorrow for some Real Madrid talk, some title talk, and all that good stuff. So loads more content to come. And I also have an exclusive here for you guys. In terms of content, myself and Joe will be doing a watch along for the Real Madrid game on Wednesday evening. So it's looking like we're going to have loads of fantastic content. Tone's a great guy, man. Tone's a great guy, Rodri. We've got Tone on tomorrow at 3:30. Myself and Joe doing a watch along Wednesday evening, and we're hopefully going to do watch alongs for as many games as possible. So make sure you're joined, man. Make sure you're part of the army. There's a link in the chat now if anybody wants to become a channel member and help support myself and Joe making all this content for you guys. Getting on great guests. Big Six tomorrow too. So yeah, lots and lots and lots to look forward to. Just hit the like button, subscribe, and if you want to help support me and Joe, like Bree, like Briggsy, like Herbal, like Jack Lee. What are the members are here? Who have we got? Briggsy, Renner's is the channel member, he's moderator. There's channel members there. Anybody who wants to be a channel member, there's a link in the chat. Yeah, lots to look forward to, man. Lots to look forward to. Let's talk about Haaland, Joe, because he didn't get a goal yesterday. Obviously, it went down as an own goal, but
He did. He scored a penalty.
He scored the penalty. Okay, right. He scored the penalty. But from open play, he doesn't look like himself. Does he?
No, but you can't exactly blame Service. He had a few good opportunities to score yesterday. He really did. He just didn't take them. I don't know what's wrong with him. Have we broken him? Is he broken? I don't get it. He didn't play at all against Aston Villa, so it's not like a tiredness issue. He had a 90 minutes off not that long ago. He's playing against Luton. Again, it's another game where just watch the games with your eyes. We're not joking when we say he has two people on him. He had two centre-halves stood on him for 90 minutes. That's the lengths that people are going to nowadays to try and stop him. Two bodies on him, back five, put two bodies on him. That's just the way it goes. And it's trying to find a way around that, which has been the issue. You don't want him dropping deep because he's just so clunky. Ends up giving the ball away. He can do simple things, like he can hold the ball up and lay it off. But in terms of dropping back and getting involved in build-up play, it's a little bit suspect. So maybe, I don't know, one of the ways that you saw in the second half against Madrid, we did this. We went long. We went long and told him to hold the ball up. And we got kind of a little bit of joy out of it. We didn't really do that against Luton. There wasn't really any, long ball service. Because Ederson used to do this. Remember, again, this is prime example. Last season, Arsenal at home. Long ball from Ederson. Haaland traps a ball, lays it off, De Bruyne 1-0. Well, that's an avenue to get him involved in the game, is going maybe long sometimes and saying, hold the ball up, lay it off to a teammate, get on your, turn your man and get on your bike. We'll try and find you. Because when teams are packing out the penalty area, it's very difficult to find him, to actually get the ball to him. When he's got two players on him, very difficult to find him to score. So he's clearly frustrated. But again, I don't know how you get around this. This is just going to keep happening. You just got to deal with it. That's something that Pep Guardiola, find something out. I'm sure he will. Pep, I'm sure he'll figure out some sort of way. But there's not really too much complaining you can do. Because if they're going to stick two men on him, I mean, we've scored 5. It's not like we're not finding him and we're dropping points and we're losing games and we're struggling. they're focusing on him, and everybody else around him is chipping in. Doku got a goal. You know, De Bruyne probably should have come out with a few assists. You look at Guardiola, another absolute rocket. Like, you can't say that what he's doing isn't still helpful to the team, because even if it is just he's a decoy and he doesn't score and he just stands there, there's so much focus on him that there's room for other people to operate. And if we win games by doing that, so be it.
Well, that's kind of my position on Haaland, is that I worry, and it frustrates me when people are complaining about Haaland not scoring goals. Like, I know the penalty, great, fantastic. He took his penalty very well. But the wider footballing world are complaining about Haaland, and will continue to increasingly complain about Haaland not scoring a huge amount of goals, not getting, you know, a huge amount of involvement in the game. The more and more games go to the pattern that they did against Real Madrid and they did against Luton. Whereas I think it's kind of hard to justify it, but it makes sense. If Haaland is being an absolute tyrant to centre halves and fullbacks and the last line of defence in general, and it's making space, it's creating avenues for Phil Fodens, for De Bruyne's, for Bernardo's, for Doku's, and all these guys to penetrate, it makes perfect sense and it's totally understandable. But it's going to be mega frustrating for Erling Haaland, because Erling Haaland he's on the pitch and himself, it's with the sole objective of scoring goals. He wants to score goals. He wants to hit the back of the net. Whereas right now, our midfielders and wingers are hitting the back of the net more often than Erling Haaland. So it's mega, mega frustrating for him. Is he getting the service that he probably requires? No. Is he taking the amount of chances that he does get? Probably not. But it's a bit of an enigma, Erling Haaland, because I get his role. I mean, you watch him against Real Madrid, Joe. Most of you in the chat will have watched him against Real Madrid. And it was quite similar. The Luton game in the sense that he occupied Tchouaméni for large parts and Rudiger of the Real Madrid game. He occupied Luton's centre halves for large parts of that game. And all of a sudden, you know, Doku does have space to run. Kovacic was moving high up the pitch. Nunes high up the pitch. And so on and so forth. But it's difficult. It's really difficult for Erling Haaland to look comfortable, to look satisfied. But are we in the business of satisfying Erling Haaland? Are we in the business of trying to keep Erling Haaland happy? I mean, what would you prefer, essentially, chat? Would you prefer Erling Haaland scores a load of goals, but we lose games and we don't win trophies? Or would you prefer we win trophies in games and Erling Haaland doesn't hit the back of the net as often? That's kind of the catch-22, Joe.
Well, it's a no-brainer for me as a fan. It's club first. Any player, club first. If he's not happy, then, you know, that's his issue. If he's not happy and he wants to go, we know we're not going to hold him to ransom. We won before he came. Probably win after he goes. Like, my one thing for watching football as a fan, again, is success, winning games of football. I'm sure that is, you know, Pep's job description as a manager is to win games of football. You know, it's not to pander to any players. You see what happens at other clubs when they pander to players, when they make them the main man. Look at United and some of their undroppables. They could put in genuine 0 out of 10s. They'll play every week. Like, that is not a good environment for a football club to let player power get too big, because then you end up like them and you end up in a mess. So, realistically, as much as it probably infuriates him, I don't really care. Like, if we win trophies, if it was costing us games, then yes, of course, naturally. But it's not. It's not actively, you know, harming our results. There have been games where it maybe, you know, has. You look at Chelsea at home when he missed a few chances. Like, some of that sort of stuff has. But then there's been games where he's won us games. Everton at home. Brentford at home. He won us 2 games. Like, he's still important and he still scores. And he still will score. And he still will get chances. But at the end of the day, we're not building this team to make him happy. We're building this team to win trophies. And if he's, you know, if he wants to be a part of winning trophies, then he might have to accept that certain games aren't going to come his way. Just might be it.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I see some people in the chat, and I've seen some people talking online. Maybe, I mean, it's not what I'm saying, but if Haaland left Manchester City and went wherever he's going to go, and we got someone in who'll do what kind of Haaland does and just provides is a make way, it will be a beneficial thing. But that's totally up to you guys to decide. I wouldn't be in a rush to sell Erling Haaland. You know what I mean? I think we have to find a way to give him service and to be effective from the wide areas as well as the midfield. It's just really difficult. We seem to be struggling to find to strike the chord of both that we're trying to do so.
Well, here's an idea then. Here's an idea, right? If we're struggling for creativity, how about you play Phil Foden and Kevin De Bruyne in the middle of the pitch? Pep Guardiola. Yeah. Here is the issue I raised to you. If he's struggling for service and he looks frustrated because he's not getting the ball, play two creative midfielders. See if that makes a difference.
Mm. Well, I know. I mean, listen, we can shoot the shit all we want. We can fucking throw out suggestions all we want. But what Pep's going to do is, it's not that.
No, he's going to try and win games, and he is winning games.
And he is winning games, so you can't really complain too much. But there's no doubt that Haaland's body language suggests that he's quite stressed. He's quite frustrated with the lack of, he's only 2 goals ahead of Ollie Watkins.
I think he was 1 because Ollie Watkins scored today.
Sorry, yeah, he's 1 ahead of Ollie Watkins. That's not something I expected at the start of the season, is it? Did you?
I mean, not Ollie Watkins. I didn't think Haaland had hit the heights as last season, but I didn't think coming in 6 games left, there'd be a guy within 1 goal of him, and it to be Ollie Watkins.
So yeah, there you go. I mean, the Haaland thing is difficult because ideally, he's what he was last season, but you can't expect Erling Haaland to be what he was last season. You can't expect us to be what we were last season. It's a total anomaly, a total, it's not normal what we as a team and what he as an individual achieved last season. But yeah, I mean, Lily, you're right. Ollie Watkins is on fire, but it just is what it is. I mean, next season is going to be interesting. I mean, I expect Haaland to be with us next season. It's going to be interesting. Does Pep, should we get Paqueta in? Should we get, I don't know, Bruno Guimaraes in? Should we get MCILUT? Whoever? Should we get more creative attacking players in? Do we find more avenues to use Erling Haaland? Do we use Erling Haaland more to the way he wants to be used, or are we just at a point where Pep's football does not suit Erling Haaland? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. We're
having a down season, and he's still top scorer in the league. Like, this is probably one of the lowest we're going to see of him in terms of outright performance, because the rest of the team's inconsistent. Like, under Pep Guardiola, I can only think of 2 worse seasons than this. That was his first, and that was the one that we didn't win the league where Liverpool won the league. Those are the only 2 seasons we've been worse than this under Pep. The rest of them have been far better. So I'm expecting next season for a few signings. We've been talking about war chest potentially, even though we've heard that before. A few signings, rejuvenate the squad, manage players' minutes. We're going to have De Bruyne hopefully for a full season. Like, we're going to get better, I believe, next season. So your logic suggests here that he'll probably have a better season.
I just have this feeling, I don't know about you, but if we sign Paqueta, him and Paqueta will hit it off. I think Paqueta has every tool in his box to unlock Erling Haaland. And there's so many times in recent weeks, Chat and Joe, where I watch Paqueta play balls through for Antonio or whoever all over the top, and I'm sitting there going, imagine that was onto Erling Haaland. I just feel Paqueta is a massive key to unlocking Erling Haaland consistently.
Yeah, and then you don't have it right now, but what do you have? Phil Foden. Baldy, please. I'm on my knees. I'm begging. Please just play them both in the middle. At least once. If it doesn't work, I'll stop saying it. But please, just show me it. I saw it once this season, right? The one time that I can remember, for like 90 minutes. Brentford away. Foden scored a hat-trick and De Bruyne assisted him. Please. Do it again. Please. I'm begging.
I know. Listen, we've been live now for just over an hour. We want to come on for an hour and chat about everything that happened today and a little bit about City and Haaland and so on and so forth. So I reckon we're going to wrap it up now. We're back at 3:30 tomorrow. Myself, Joe, and Blue Tone from Twitter, great guy, absolute legend, knows his stuff. He's going to chat to me and Joe about Real Madrid, about the title race. So don't worry, people. In a matter of hours, we will be back 3:30 with Tone. Lots to look forward to. Watch along Wednesday night for the Real Madrid game. Please, please, please do join us. It's our first watch along in years.
Yes, man.
Literally years. It's our first watch along in years back on this channel. So we would love it if you guys would show support. Just hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. There's a link in the chat right now to be a channel member. If any of you guys want to be a channel member and help support me and Joe, you get a badge beside your name. You get access to the Discord server. You'll be a channel moderator. There's lots that comes with being a channel member. So Blue Tone, 3:30 tomorrow. I've got Big Six. We might get a video out, and then Tuesday, me and Joe will go live at least once, if not twice, with guests as well, building up to Real Madrid. Wednesday, same, building up to Real Madrid. So much to talk about. We're going to get guests on, loads and loads and loads to talk about, loads to do. But listen, great stream tonight. We just wanted to come on for an hour and talk about the results today, talk a little bit about City. We'll talk more about the Luton game with Tone tomorrow. So yeah, listen, fantastic. Big up to each and every single one of you. Subscribe, hit the like button, become a channel member, support us on our journey here to 10K. Other than that, look after yourselves. Good night and God bless. Wrap her up, Joy Boy.
Listen to your heart. Tell me who you wanna be. We can always start.